What's up everybody, this is Vick Almighty. Welcome back to another episode of Shoe Care Academy. Today we're going to be taking care of the 2026 Toro 4s. As you can see, this shoe is cooked. Literally all around, every millimeter of this shoe is covered in grime, dirt. Something stinky is also on this shoe. So today I'm going to show you guys the best way to clean it up. The one concern I do have though is red suede. You guys already know when it comes to red, whether it's leather or suede, it tends to bleed. In this situation, we're gonna find out if this shoe is safe or not to clean up. So without further ado, let's get to work. Now the first thing I'm gonna do is put this shoe to the side and only focus on the right for before and after purposes. Whenever you're cleaning up a shoe, there's two things you gotta do. Prep work, and you wanna assess the material that you're working with. Once you get rid of the prep work, we're gonna do a little test area to see if that red suede bleeds or not. You wanna be safe when cleaning up shoes. You don't wanna just grab the solution and water and start cleaning up the sneaker. That's not the right way to do so. You don't wanna ruin a sneaker before you even actually start working on the shoe. First, I'm gonna go ahead and take out the laces and insole to get it going. Take the insole out as well. Everything's got to get thoroughly cleaned separately. Got a few toes, Robert's toes. Bro's only been wearing them for like a week. Bro's got heavy toes. We got the shoe disassembled. Next is the prep work. I'm gonna grab the medium bristle brush, dry as is, no water or solution, and start brushing the sneaker. Literally all around the shoe, it's covered in mud and dirt. The last thing I want to do is grab water and solution and push it deeper into the material. A, it's going to create a big mess, and B, you're not really cleaning up the shoe. This makes a massive difference. It's not cleaning it up perfectly. You can see the cloud of dirt coming off. This is all stuff you want to get off before you start cleaning. To you guys, this may seem like regular dirt and mud, but I'll be honest, I'm pretty sure this is like mud covered in like cat piss. The smell that the shoe's giving off is horrible. You know, it looks like regular dirt, but nah, this shit's worse. I should be wearing gloves. I should be wearing a mask. Fuck. All right, that's enough. Let's go outside. Million times better, night and day difference, but we're not even done yet. There's still a lot of marks and stains all around the sneaker. We have some black water marks throughout the entire upper. If you look closely, it's there. Whatever that is. The sock liner's still dirty. There's crap on the toe box. Soles are still dirty. Job is not done. So the next step we're gonna do is grab our shoe tree, adjust it to size. These are a size 9. Put it in. This helps remove the creasing from the toe box during the cleaning and drying process. Now at this point, we gotta run some tests. I'm gonna grab some water, pour it into our bowl. Reshoevn8r solution, 2 squirts is all you need. This stuff is highly concentrated. Now before I start scrubbing the entire shoe, I'm gonna test this little area right here. It's on the opposite side, it's the most hidden. I like to try it on this area specifically. That way if it does get ruined, at least it's not an obvious area like the toe box or the lateral side. I'm gonna start with the soft bristle brush, hammer it with water and solution, get it nicely mixed up, and then I'm just gonna saturate that area, scrub it in a circular motion to see if any bleeding occurs. All right, wish me luck, boys. That's a good sign. Usually if the material bleeds, there's red all over the studs and the bristles. Same thing with the shoe. At the moment, I don't think I see any bleeding. Let me pat it down dry to double check. Yeah, same thing. If it was bleeding, it would be all over the towel. In my opinion, this shoe is safe. With all that being said, let's continue. The last thing you wanna do is just spot clean it. So you can see right here, there's already a watermark starting to develop. If I leave it as is, it's gonna get worse. Now for these uppers, I'm gonna be using a soft bristle brush. I'm gonna brush in a circular motion all around. Same thing with the inside. The idea is to get all these marks off. When it comes to the Jordan 4s, there's a couple areas you don't wanna miss out on, such as behind the plastic eyelets. Grime and dirt always get stuck in those areas. Behind the wings, same exact thing. And behind the back tab. If you're working with an older Jordan 4 before 2010 or around that era, don't pull it back. There's a good chance it can rip right off. In this case, it's 2026, so there's no issues with that. All right, so far so good, you guys. Not gonna lie, this shoe is not perfect yet. The soft bristle brush did a good job breaking down some of the grime and dirt, but the closer I look, there is still a lot of stains. For example, the mark that was on there is still subtly there. Marks on the toe box are there. There's still a little piece on the tongue as well. The soft bristle brush did a great job, but at this point, it's not gonna do the job anymore. We're gonna move on to the medium bristle brush. This brush is very similar to the soft bristle brush. However, it has slightly stiffer bristles to get deeper into cleaning. In the beginning, I did all the prep work. It was covered in brown, grime, and dirt. Make sure you rinse it off before you go back and clean up the shoe. All right, at this point, I think the uppers are good. I did all the scrubbing possible. I'm gonna continue using this brush, but on the midsole area now. Thought I was done. Check out underneath that wing. Big old black mark. Now I gotta go back and clean it. For me, you guys, when it comes to cleaning up my sneakers, I like to take my time, enjoy the process, make sure I get every little mark off the sneaker. So really satisfying feeling to see the before and after a little bit of TLC work. I think the uppers are good. Midsole looks great as well. The last step we gotta take care of is this outsole. Luckily, we did a great job with the prep work. A lot of the grime and dirt got pushed out. Now we gotta finish the job with the stiff bristle brush. Not gonna lie, you guys, I'm really happy with this cleaning. All of the marks came out nicely. Insides look great. Soles cleaned up perfectly. At this point, we just gotta let them dry. I really thought I was gonna have to put the shoe in the washing machine. Considering how dirty and stinky they were, this shoe looks great. Before I put it outside though, you gotta take care of a couple more things. These are things you should never forget. You got the shoe cleaned up, finish the job. You wanna clean up the insole and the shoelace. These things are super easy. I'm gonna grab the shoelace, put it in leftover water and solution. Just let it marinate there for a second. In the meantime, I'm gonna grab the soft bristle brush, dunk it in the solution once again, and take care of these insoles. I do want to give a shout out to Robert though. He removed the size tag. So you can see there is no black square. Perfect insole. Thanks, Rob. Insole and lace is all cleaned up. After this, you got two options. If it's really dirty, I would recommend putting it in the washing machine. In this case, it's not too bad. So I'm gonna go to the sink, rinse off all the soap. Then I'm gonna put all three parts outside to dry. After about 40 minutes underneath the Arizona sun, these are the final results, you guys. Not gonna lie, it's an early day today. Pack it up, boys, because there's no issues with this one. This cleaned up perfectly. When it comes to this red suede, for one, it did not bleed at all. We did not lose any color. This material is also a nubuck. Most of the time when you clean up suede with water and solution, once it dries, it gets really hard and crunchy. For this specific situation and material, it's buttery soft still. So this right here is one of those materials where you don't have to go back with the medium or brass bristle brush to reset the nap on the suede. Now the last step I gotta do is lace it up and insert the insole, but real quick, I'm gonna do one quick step. It might improve it might not, but it doesn't hurt to try. This right here is our Reshoevn8r mink oil. It works great for bringing back the color on the suede once you lose some of the color. Like I mentioned, we didn't really lose any color, but once we apply some mink oil, it should help darken up the color. In a second, I am going to show you guys a quick side-by-side comparison of these with the 2013 model. Once you see the older model, you're going to see the difference in reds. I'm going to spray just a bit of mink oil onto the horsehair brush, brush it in, and help make the color just a bit more vibrant. Since this is nubuck, I'm not worried about caking it on. With other suedes, if you apply too much mink oil, it could turn it into a leather-like feel. For this shoe and nubuck, you don't really have to worry about that. Basically what you want to do is just kind of hit the entire shoe in a circular motion with the horsehair brush. Massage the mink oil into the shoe and remove any ashiness. All right, that looks good. I'm gonna lace them up, put the insole inside so I can bring in the OG version. All laced up. Right here is the 2026 version. On the right side is the 2013 retro. There's a few noticeable differences. Honestly, I should have probably sprayed the mink oil after I did the comparison. This red looks very similar to the OG now. One thing to expect if you're buying the 2026 version, the red is gonna look very ashy, very faded looking. It's gonna look very off compared to the 2013 version. If you wanna get the red looking nice and vibrant, all you need is some mink oil and a horsehair brush. Besides the color, let's talk about the other details on the 2013 and 2026 version. One of the biggest differences besides the color is the toe boxes. The new version adapted the new shape of the Jordan 4s. As you can see on the toe box, it's nice and sleek. The 2013 is awfully bulky. I've never been a fan of these Jordan 4s. Just real quick, show you guys a side-by-side comparison. These are two different sizes, keep that in mind, but this toe box is way bulkier. Another noticeable difference is the tongue. On the newer Jordan 4s, they adapted the tongue from the OG 89s. If you look at the tongue, it flips right over. On here, it's the older version. If you ask me, this tongue wins it every single time. The plastic hardware is basically the exact same. The back tabs and the wings, nothing different about that. The wings tongue tags, I would say they're identical. Maybe the shade of gray is slightly different, but the tongue tags I would say are about the exact same. The netting on the tongues and the sides are noticeably different. On the 2026, it's a lot thicker and spaced out nicer. On the older retro, it's just thinner. It's kind of glued onto the actual backing. I'm not a fan of that at all. One more thing to call out, it's not really noticeable, but you can definitely feel it. On the new version, the padding is extra nice all around the ankle area. Same thing with the tongues, it's nice and plush. On the older version, it's very flat. Same thing with the tongue, there's barely any padding. I would say the new version is definitely upgraded when it comes to that. Another thing to call out that's probably not worth mentioning is the color of the gray on the soles. There is a difference. The gray on this one's a lot lighter. However, this shoe's about 13 years old, so there's a good chance that's just all oxidation. With some Reshoevn8r Sore Revive, that will probably get it back to the original gray, like the 2026. The final thing to call out on this comparison is the material. The 2026 contains a nice buttery nubuck material. On the 2013 version, the material feels like nubuck, however it's not. It feels like more of a synthetic material. There's a good chance age has gotten into the sneaker. It might have felt like this 13 years ago. At some point, this material is gonna start cracking. I can kind of see some right here on the inside part. That tells me that this is synthetic and probably not nubuck. Now with all that being said, let's take out the 2013 and bring in the before. Here comes my favorite saying. Night and day difference, you guys. Check it out. And the best part about it is, this did not take too much work. At first when I saw this shoe on my desk, I thought I was gonna be sitting here for hours, doing prep work, trying to scrub all those stains off, have to put the shoe in the washing machine. However, that was not the case at all. With our Reshoevn8r Essential Shoe Cleaning Kit and some prep work, we got some great results just like this. Like I mentioned, zero issues. The material did not change to a different texture. We did not lose any color at all. The stains on the tongues all over the shoe came out nicely. So it's safe to say the Toro from 2026 is a good shoe, safe to clean up. You should have no worries at all. As always, you guys, you can find all the Reshoevn8r products that I use in this video and more at Reshoevn8r.com. While you're there, we just launched a brand new page with all our new and used sneakers. Some of the stuff that we clean up on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok will all end up there for a great price. Make sure you keep an eye on it. We are updating it every single day. This is Vick Almighty. I'll catch you guys on the next one. See you guys.